panel discussion on building future-ready organization, may I request the regional council members, CA Shweta Jain and CA Vijendra Jain, to escort all our three speakers, Sandeep Zanvar, Jayashree Ramaswamy, Kailash Rathi, Dipesh Vora, and moderator Sumeet Doshi. Moving towards the second session on panel discussion, building future-ready organization, changing dynamics of leadership, technology, and finance. Of course, the worthy panelist and the moderator will take ahead the session. The fantastic deliberation in inaugural by both the learned guest, the chief guest, and the guest of honor, and rightly pointing out the various aspects for the business to sustain, business to go forward, and taking forward from there what all thing we need to build a future-ready organization is the important task before CEO, CFO, and CXO, and all other chartered accountant associated with various industries in various capacity, be it as auditor, be it as independent director. We must try and learn what an organization need to be for a future ready. The principles which we have learned for years, are they same or are they changing? Learning new things, unlearning old things, learning new technology, new law. Today, the information is knowledge. So how do we get information as a chartered accountant, and which we use rightly for building a future-ready organization? Do we do hard work or smart work? Are we all, as a chartered accountant, we heard just now SP Jain sir, the basic qualification which puts us ahead of the entire lot is already we have. The degree of CA, the two alphabet which are trusted by the entire world. We already have, we possess that degree. What more we have to learn? Is it some more additional degree as a CEO, CFO, CXO we need to have? Is it something other skill set which we should have to make our organization wherever we are a future-ready organization? Let's learn and let's know from all the leaders of the industry, the worthy panelists. Before they start, may I request the Senior Regional Council member, CA Shweta Jain, to formally introduce our all speakers and the moderator.
Thank you so much, Ketan sir. It's really a pleasure for me to introduce to such an eminent personality. First of all, I would start with the thanks that you all have accepted the invitation and being with us today. Thank you so much, all of you. So we'll start with the Jayashree ma'am. Jayashree ma'am is a CA, CMA, CS, CPA, and a Group Chief Financial Officer of IL&FS and CFO of IL&FS Financial Services Limited. She is having over 35 years of experience, so quite a long, in finance and administration across IT, financial services, and information services sectors. Earlier, she has served in senior finance leadership roles, including CFO position of over 2 decades at organizations such as Bharat Heavy Electricals Limited, Credit Suisse First Boston India, Cargill Capital Financial Services, and Dune and Bradstreet. So thank you so much, ma'am, for being with us today. It's really a pleasure for all of us. Sandeep Zanvar, he is also a chartered accountant, CFO, over 20 years of experience across assets and wealth management, private equity, capital market, NBFCs, and banking. Having a deep expertise in private equity transactions, IPO, financial reporting and controllership, FP&A, direct and indirect taxation, and capital market operation. He is a strategic finance leader known for adding operational and strategic value by aligning financial architecture with high-growth business objectives. Thank you so much, Sandeep ji, for being with us. Thank you. Kailash Rathi, he is the head partnership and company leading at Ecofy with over 15 years of experience in financial services, digital lending strategy, and business developments. He specializes in partnership, co-lending, retail digital lending, product management, and institutional business, and has played a key role in raising US $42 million from marquee investors for the company. Apart from that, he has been our CA rank holder and alumni of IIM Ahmedabad. Thank you so much, Kailash ji, for being with us. Thank you. Dipesh Vora, chartered accountant, over 22 years of experience, currently serves as a CFO for the India business of Dräger Group, leading finance and tax procurement and IT functions. Throughout his career, he has managed regional P&Ls across Southeast Asia, lead major business transformation and ERP implementation projects, and driven profitability and operational excellence initiative. He has held leadership role with global organizations including Smith Medicals, Ottobock Healthcare, Prudential, and Price Waterhouse, and is known for his strength in strategic business partnership, leadership, and sustainable growth. Welcome, Dipesh, to the WIRC, and thank you so much. Our moderator, who is going to play a very important role for this discussion, Sumeet Doshi. He is a chartered accountant and founder of Doshi Jain & Company, a multidisciplinary CA firm, specializing in financial due diligence, internal audit, CFO advisory, banking finance, and GST advisory. He begins his career with Ernst & Young EY in the transaction advisory services division, focusing on financial due diligence. Till now, he has advised businesses across diverse sectors, including large corporate with turnover, I think, more than 1,000 crores. Good growth, we can say. So thank you so much, Sumeet, for accepting to being with us. I'm sure with your capabilities, we are going to get a very fruitful discussion from this panel. Thank you so much, and over to you, Ketan bhai.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Shweta. Let's have a big round of applause for all the panelists and moderators. And with this, may I request the dynamic and young chairman, CS Saurabh Ajmera, the secretary Bishan Bhai, and all the RCM to join on the stage for giving memento to all the panelists and the moderator. Thank you everyone. Thank you so much. And over to Sumeet. I am sure this Sumeet is going to make it very, very interesting. And we will have a fantastic deliberation on future-ready organization for all CEO, CFO. Over to you, Sumeet.
Hello, am I audible? Yeah, thank you so much. So, good evening, everyone. Thank you so much, first of all, to WIRC, ICAI, the entire WIRC team, especially CS Saurabh for organizing such a different event, CXO Roundtable. A warm welcome to each one of you, dignitaries on the dais, off the dais, and all respected leaders present over here. We welcome you on behalf of ICAI, WIRC. We thank you for participating in CXO Roundtable Conference. So, to move forward, basically this event or this discussion is not going to be around leadership, technology, or about the changes or disruption. This is, oops. My glass is broken. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, sorry for the disruption. So this discussion is not going to be about finance, leadership, or technology. This will be completely focused towards how companies are able to sustain or adapt, or basically they are able to lead in such a disruptive environment. The whole discussion will be towards how are we going to be relevant in next 5 years or 10 years. That is the entire thesis of the entire roundtable discussion. So we have been in a very fascinating environment today. We have seen geopolitical issue, we have seen Trump tariff, we have seen post-COVID. We are living in an era wherein we have AI disrupting everything. We have a very distinguished customer expectation today in whichever industry we are. We have increasing governance from all the sides of government. So all these discussions put together, any company, whether it is into infrastructure, whether it is into finance or healthcare or any other sector of manufacturing for that matter, they all have single question with them, which is how are we going to remain relevant for next 5 years or 10 years. So we are going to discuss this subject with industry leaders who deals with this kind of issues every day from a first-hand perspective. All the CFOs are present on the table. They deal with this kind of issues day in, day out. We will be questioning them to the core so that we get best answers and we learn from them and we implement similar things wherever we work or in our career, in our journey, basically. So with that, moving forward, I welcome all the panelists on the table. Thank you so much for joining the CXO Roundtable Conference. And we will begin with CA Sandeep Zanvar, sir. So, sir, to begin with, sir comes from a industry wherein investing has become very much tech-enabled. I mean, AI is disrupting decision-making. Today, while I go and open my Upstocks or my Zerodha app, the app tells me which FNO or which investment equity I should buy. So, sir, in such a fascinating environment, how do you see the challenges in terms of AI disrupting investment decisions, AI disrupting wealth management techniques, right? At the same time, you have to take care of the governance, you have to take care of the basic premise under which wealth advisory or investment decisions were taken in past. So how do you see things changing and how do you adapt those changes so that your institution lead from front? Over to you.
Yeah. So for us or anybody in financial services, trust is the product. It is not something which is kind of something different. Trust is the product that we actually sell to the clients. And everything else is the delivery mechanism. So when that is the core, it has remained the core since very long and it will remain the core for future as well. Only the delivery mechanisms do change. So for us, governance and investor trust is the highest importance factor. And innovation can never be kind of said to be kind of a balancing factor, or innovation needs to be stopped by way of kind of governance. These are kind of standing or go hand in hand. So as far as kind of investment management or wealth advisory is concerned, the landscape is changing very fast. The products that are available today or the customer expectations are there, they are kind of enormous. Earlier, the wealth management used to be around mutual fund distribution. Now the product landscape has changed from mutual funds to AIFs to REITs to model portfolios, diversification across globe, not only kind of getting exposed to India. So the needs are varied. And at the same time, the need for personalized advice, irrespective of the customer's journey, that is also kind of increasing. So for example, earlier or till now, the India wealth advisory scenario or the landscape is more dominated by white glove services, which are kind of catering to the UHNI or HNI. The normal or the affluent or mass affluent segment is underserved. And in the name of wealth advisory, what gets delivered to these segments is actually a product push kind of advice, where a certain product is sold stating that this product is good for you, this will give X return, Y return, and you should buy this. That needs to kind of change, and that is slowly changing. So innovation, product innovation is necessary, but at the heart of problem lies the customer trust, and that needs to be carried through.
So is AI changing the finance team role in your company?
See, I would kind of address this in two layers. One is no, and the other is absolutely yes. So when it comes to kind of core of finance function, what finance function is supposed to do? Finance function is the custodian of organization's assets. They support the organization decision making. They are the finance risk manager of the organization. They do allocate capital in a way that kind of serves the longer term purpose of the organization. They bring trust to various stakeholders. So they are manager of trust or chief trustee officers of the organization. So these functions will never change kind of thing. But having said this, the way, and I'm sure every one of us here is today kind of facing this, the way these functions are getting delivered is changing, not kind of in years, but every quarter the kind of solutions, tech solutions are being made available, and the kind of productivity gains these solutions are bringing are enormous. So when Bhandariji was speaking, so he was right. The finance function, the way it used to kind of be there, will completely is going to get transformed. So earlier, if you have imagined teams, finance teams 5 years back, or even a few years back, not 5 years back, accounts payable, taxation team, treasury team, FP&A team, maybe AR team. These were the standard kind of silos where finance function used to be kind of present. Now, AP team, maybe those teams won't even exist, because from procure to pay, everything is self-driven. There is nothing which actually kind of gets entered into the system. So the structure of the finance teams definitely change, but the functions, the delivery remain the same at the core of the heart.
Understood. Thank you so much. So the key takeaway is trust. I mean, yes. Moreover, the AI or any kind of disruption, trust is something wherein the investment activity or the investment advisory will fly through. Our next question is towards CA Jayashree, madam. Ma'am is CFO with IL&FS. So ma'am, the financial institution linked with infrastructure and the domain itself needs long-term capital, high governance, investor confidence. So what kind of company or what defines a company to be future ready in such a disruptive environment to remain as an infrastructure financing company?
Okay. I think, am I audible? Yeah. So I think for companies to be future ready, and how does the company define itself today? According to me, it defines itself by its ability to be able to anticipate proactive changes in market shifts. You have to adapt with agility. You got to be able to make smart, intelligent decisions based on data very, very quickly. That's what I mean by agility. And you have to leverage technology in order to drive sustainable growth. According to me, only if you're able to do all of this, you're future ready. Because if you're not doing any one of these things, I don't think you will be able to sustain yourself in the near future. See, organizations which actually react to disruptions are not going to be able to survive for too long. According to me, you have to basically anticipate disruptions and then think about a strategy as to what you're going to do to get your products to sell and to innovate continuously, and for which you have to also take care of your workforce. You got to ensure that they learn, upskill, relearn things, because we are actually operating our business in a very, very dynamic business environment. So all this is extremely important to be future ready.
So just one more top-up question, ma'am. Post-pandemic, when most of the infra companies were suffering a lot, is the definition of risk management changed?
I think risk management has really undergone a huge change, because today, in today's environment, we as CFOs face a number of risks, and these risks are now kind of materializing, right? Because we see that there are macroeconomic challenges. We see AI disruption. We saw the challenges that came with the tariffs that were imposed on countries. So a CFO today has to navigate a number of risks and come up with risk mitigation strategies for each type of risk. So I would say that, previously, traditionally, the CFO used to basically run an annual budgeting process. Today, I think businesses have to look at their numbers on a weekly basis, and they'll have to come up with suitable strategies to be able to mitigate the risk and deliver financial performance in terms of revenue growth, in terms of margins, in terms of efficiency, and in terms of bringing down the costs. So for every risk that you see, you should have a mitigation strategy in place, because otherwise your business metrics is going to get impacted.
Thank you, ma'am. That gives a lot of, your each word shows the number of years of experience which you carry and the responsibility which you shoulder. Our next question is for CA Kailash Rathi. Kailash is CFO with a green finance company. Basically, they finance companies which are into green initiatives. So Kailash, my question to you would be, any financing company or a company which is into finance sector, they need to reinvent themselves every day, because given the inventive kind of founders we have in India for finance domain, right? We are honestly running far ahead of many global economies towards that. So what are your thoughts around what changes are important in any finance company for that company to remain ahead in terms of all this kind of changes what we are talking about in terms of AI, whether it is geopolitical risk or it is tariff or anything else? Yeah.
Thanks, Sumit. I think the question is around what differentiates or what are the changes that you need to bring in the transformation or be future ready. Why change is needed is essentially the important question here before you and I answer that. I think there are two kinds of changes that an organization strives for. One is, what are the performance gaps? What are the opportunity gaps? Performance gaps are the ones that what we should do, and opportunity gaps are what we could do. I think with AI, all performance gaps are now down the road because AI can solve for all performance gaps. Efficiency, productivity, everything can be solved by performance gaps. So as leaders, as CXOs, what we have to solve for is opportunity gaps. I think what differentiates organizations at opportunity gaps is how, with what kind of conviction you can take decisions. As Jayashree ma'am was saying, how do you anticipate a change? How do you quickly take a decision and move on with it? I'd like to quote a McKinsey study, I think last year. They found out that only 4% organizations are actually with scaled AI deployment. The reason was they had executive sponsorship, that means conviction in terms of what decision they are taking, and more importantly, they were willing to kill the experiments that were not working. Most of the organizations shy away from doing that. The second important thing, Sumit, to your question is, what kind of talent pool do we have? I think everyone is talking about jobs getting lost because of AI. What we should think of is what kind of jobs are coming up. Again, a leaf out of what Anil Bhandari mentioned about how many of us are engineers. I think the question is, how many of us can wear an engineer hat? How many of us can innovate rather than just execute? So, us, within our teams, ourselves, the question that we should ask is, how much time of our day are we spending in execution versus how much time are we spending in terms of innovating, in terms of exploring something that is unknown that is coming up? I think that should be the approach that we should take.
So Kailash, just to add on, while you evaluate any investment opportunity now as a green finance company, do you consider those investees to be AI enabled mandatorily, or you would skip that?
I think just like tech was table stakes 5 years back, AI is table stakes today. If you're not at least investing some amount and working on AI in the financial services space as of now, you would be gone behind. So yes, AI is table stakes. What we would look at is obviously the CAGR that is coming up, the product and the innovation around that.
Understood. Thank you so much, Kailash. So our next question is for CA Dipesh Vora. Dipesh is CFO with the company Dräger, which is into manufacturing of healthcare equipments. So Dipesh, basically post-COVID, right? I'm sure that the companies which are into healthcare manufacturing would have learned a lot of things. So how do you see those kind of learnings phasing out today, given the disruptions which you have today? You have already seen a disruption while you had COVID, right? And today you have a different set of challenges in front of you. Can you just throw some light over there?
Yes, so I think during COVID, especially for medical device technologies, equipments as well as disposables, we realized that from India perspective, we were well short, whether in terms of, let's say, ventilators, oxygen cylinders, or even in terms of initial part for vaccination. Then eventually we started manufacturing vaccines. So we have a large population, and in terms of healthcare, I think we have a lot more way to go. So the leadership lessons around COVID, which are still relevant, are, I would put largely into 3 buckets. One is really managing the entire supply chain. So by that I mean really going local manufacturing, not dependent on global economies. The same lesson is even relevant today. So you have global wars going on, so energy crisis, and anything we are in short in supply. So from a healthcare's perspective, it's really important that as a country we become self-reliant. We are already the drug maker of the world. So from pharma perspective, India has done really well. But from a medical technology, we are still a little bit behind. So really the first is getting self-sufficient local manufacturing. The second part would be really, I would say, and which is also closely related to the theme, is digitizing and automation. Right now, again, we have large amount of population. So how can, from an hospital and medtech devices, can we automate, digitize patient records? When you go to a hospital, even as of today, lot of things are paper-based. This reduces the efficiency. So if another pandemic occurs, are we ready? Most of the time the hospital is full. We don't even have enough coverage. So if we improve the hospital efficiency by digitalizing automation, you can actually get more patient, more coverage. This is the second. And my last would be really every organization along with government to really look at future trends and innovate. The traditional products really don't make so much sense in the new world. So there will be newer diseases. So we need to move from reactive healthcare to preventive. Right now, everything is you fall sick, you go to hospital. Can we become more predictive with data? So you have a lot of variables. You have your blood work, you do your blood test report regularly, but can you collect all this data from your blood work, from your wearable devices, based on your age, demography, and can you predict something so that you are better prepared for pandemic? So these are the three themes which I would say would be relevant for us as a country.
So given the AI disruption, given the new age entrepreneurs who are entering into medical device manufacturing, do you see your technology might not be viable down the line 5 years? Are you investing heavily to stay advanced and ensure that you stay relevant?
Yeah, I mean, to be very frank, we are not looking so far in advance, 10, 15, 20 years that this, let's take a simple example of a ventilator or an anesthesia machine or whatever, a CT scan. My personal view is this technology would remain, but however, there would be a lot of disruption in how you, like I mentioned, collect data, deploy those technology. You would need oxygen to support, which happens through a ventilator. Now a ventilator or an anesthesia machine or a CT scan completely going away can only happen when you do a preventive healthcare. So if you don't fall sick, of course, you will not need hospitalization, you will not need all these devices. So in that way, your technology can become less relevant. I would not say fully gone, but we are more investing in how you can prevent certain things rather than being reactive, because that's where the real game changer is. And for nation also, there's a lot of healthcare costs in treating people when you get sick. I mean, we have a little national insurance, but let's take US, Europe. They have a huge healthcare cost. Now they are also thinking, how do we reduce this? And this can be best done when you have more of a preventive healthcare system rather than reactive. So yeah, I mean, to your question, we are investing. Basic stuff will remain, but how you treat, how you collect data, how you automate, how you increase efficiencies, that's where AI will play a big role.
Thank you so much, Dipesh. So moving on back to CA Sandeep Zanvar. So quickly, I mean, we are running short of time, so I'll throw firefighting questions on all of you. Okay, I would request you to answer it in quick minutes. So the question for you, sir, is what will define a future-ready organization? Will it be leadership? Will it be financial discipline? Will it be culture? Will it be technology? Which one you'll choose? Which will define a company as a next generation future-ready?
So, Sumit, this is very difficult to choose one of these things. But if you allow only to choose one option, leadership will be the thing, right? And we have actually seen how leadership actually impacts the future of the organization, whether the organization are future ready, whether they are able to disrupt themselves. So take example of Nokia versus Apple. Back in 2007, Apple was far behind in terms of tech compared to Nokia. And Nokia deployed the best of the technology. They were market leaders. They were doing exactly what is required by business rules. So there was nothing which was wrong which Nokia was doing. But they never disrupted themselves. And and after that, what has happened, everyone knows, right? And come back to kind of India. We can take example of Reliance Industries. The way, and this is publicly, MDA has spoken about this, the way he has disrupted his own organization from each 5 years, this is remarkable. The way this group has kind of moved from textiles to petrochemicals to telecom to retail to financial services, they have disrupted themselves and they are keeping relevant for the customer segment that they want to serve. So this is where the leadership comes into picture. So
So
I
the
would
answer
go for
is
leadership.
leadership is the best thing. Mukesh Bhai is the leader. Sorry to name him. All right, ma'am. So the next question is for you. Ma'am, AI is the talk of the town, right? Every boardroom has discussion around how AI will disrupt their company.
Yeah.
So down the line, 3 years, what do you think? What kind of things will literally change because of AI?
I think, see, today AI is basically used for FP&A, as at least in the finance function. You know, a lot of AI tools are being used in financial planning and analysis because it's here where the CFO actually can access real-time data across the organization, have an integrated data system, access it across the organization, and you analyze the data to come up with actionable insights for the business to take smart decisions. So I think that's one very important area where AI is being used. But I see AI being used in a lot of other areas, including sales and marketing function, to determine which, you know, which markets you go after, which customers you basically pursue. So for all of that also, you will be using AI. So I think AI is going to be used across the organization. But from a finance perspective, I see the use more in FP&A areas, financial planning and analysis.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much. So, Kailash, a quick one for you. Given the disruptive environment where we are, we have got different set of challenges. A CFO, which was supposed to be a bookkeeper, a number protector, or no, of FP&A person, down the line 5 years, how do you look at a CFO in terms of a transformator for the entire company and not only a number changer?
Okay. First of all, Sumit, I'm not a CFO. I'm a CXO. I'll tell you why this is relevant for this conversation. When I became a CA 15 years back, in my mind, I was very conscious that I want to be the bread earner. I want to be the business side. As things have transpired, the CFO role or the business role has converged. And I don't think the CFO role is a siloed CFO role where the only financial decisions are taken. CFOs are not just closing books. I think they are opening conversations. Today, there is a convergence of business and CFO role. CFO plays a very, very active role in terms of decision making, and that will continue to be more so, as I said, because how the performance related things are getting AI tech-led, right? So I think that is going to change very, very rapidly, and it is on the path for the right trajectory.
Thank you so much. So last question, sir. Basically, what is the single biggest risk which today companies are underestimating as per you among cybersecurity, let's say talent obsolescence, governance fatigue, speed of decision making, or geopolitical uncertainty? Which is the biggest risk which companies today are underestimating?
Look, I think there's a lot of talk on AI. So this is in respect to that. And companies are investing heavily, even in terms of training, tools, etc. But for me, I think the biggest risk is, of course, in addition to this, cybersecurity is a risk. But if the company doesn't prepare itself in terms of organizational structure, in terms of culture, in terms of learning mindset, there will be a big gap. I mean, companies will not have that much ROI from their AI investment. AI is a big talk in town, but there's a lot of base work the company has to do before going on full scale in AI. Because eventually, these AI tools, etc., the whole organization has to use it. If they are not ready to shift in their mindset, it will be very difficult for that company to really justify the investments. I mean, it is easier for board level to say, okay, let's put X million dollar in AI, in tools, but until the organization is not ready. So that is the biggest risk from my perspective. Of course, in addition to all those risks which are always there.
Understood, understood. Thank you so much. So guys, very quickly, same question for all four of you. In single sentence, if I have to ask you, which is the most important capability which a company should ensure to have within their organization to remain future ready? In one sentence, most important capability, starting with Sandeep Zanvar.
So the future ready organizations are the organizations which are not going to kind of be protected by the change, but they are going to be the organizations which will bring the change.
Okay. Thank you so much. Ma'am?
See, I think it's very important to have a learning mindset. And this, I'm not talking of only the CFOs. The entire workforce in a business organization should have a learning mindset where they continuously learn, relearn, upskill themselves, and adapt. Adaptation is a very, very important aspect, because unless you're able to adapt to the changing circumstance, you will not be able to achieve the business objectives. So I would basically place the importance on learning and relearning and upskilling, especially for the workforce in that organization.
Thank you so much. So learning and upskilling. Yes, Kailash.
I completely resonate. I'll just paraphrase. In a world that is changing faster than our strategy, learning curve is the strategy.
So, Dipesh bhai, one single capability which a company should build. Over to you.
Good. All are good. So for me, I think organizations which are agile, nimble, they will survive or they will do well in accordance, in addition to what all of them have said. So I would say agile, fast. Things are changing fast. So unless you respond faster, you can fail. But once you fail and then reinvent and do things faster, then you will survive. So that's...
Thank you so much. Yes, Sandeep, you want to speak something?
So you cannot respond to change. You need to bring the change.
Correct. Thank you so much. Thanks. So trust, upskilling, learning, or staying agile, these are the solutions which our leaders are giving for any company to be themselves, investor friendly, to be ready for any kind of disruptive changes which we see across. So again, to conclude this entire session, I would say, how are we going to remain relevant for the next 5 to 10 years is the most important question which is running behind all our mind. I tried my best to question the current leaders for all of us to understand how to handle this kind of disruptions. Thank you so much for all the panelists to attend this session. And if there's any question from anyone, I'm happy to take that up through the panel. Otherwise, we can conclude the session.
Yeah,
Any questions?
Probably we can have 1 or 2 questions quickly. Yeah, fair. I think a fantastic session. And both the session, the inaugural and this, I think, is hinting that we all need to learn technology, and we are heading towards one more fantastic session towards technology. And before I invite Abhishek for doing the vote of thanks of this session, let me invite young and dynamic and dedicated regional council member, C. Vijendra Jain, who is PR committee chairman of WIRC, heading PR from the fund. He is also chairman of hostel and reading room committee. And we fondly call him as Vijubhai. Vijubhai, I'll take 1 minute relating to his committee only. Many of the CEO, CFO, and CXO are present here. Let me tell you that we are running 5 reading room in Mumbai at Mulund, Dadar, BKC, Malad, Andheri, and Cuff Parade. And WIRC is also managing a hostel at Vasai, which is Divang Kuldeep Singh Hostel. This hostel is being renovated in last year and even in current year. And it is having CSR certificate. And we are aiming to raise some funds for further improvement in the infrastructure. It's having capacity of almost 150 people. And Vijubhai is ably leading this committee. I request all of you to, suggest to your companies to help the hostel raising the funds for the improvement of infrastructure. Please contact any of us regional council member. We will give you the detailed project, what we intend to do. And maybe you can contribute to the noble cause where a lot of underprivileged CA students come from across the India and stay at Vasai Hostel. With this, may I invite Vijendra Jain for a worthy vote of thanks to all the panelists and moderator.
Thank you, Honorable Immediate Past Chairman CA Ketan Sayya sir. Please give the great round of applause for very sincere Regional Council Member and Immediate Past Chairman for Ketan Sayya sir and Senior Regional Council Member Shweta Jain and entire WRC team 21 Impactful for 26-27. A heartfelt vote of thanks to all our respected speakers, dignitaries of making today's CXO Roundtable truly insightful, inspiring and impactful. Today's स्ट्रेटेजी से ग्रोथ मिलती है सुमित भाई, लेकिन लीडरशिप से लीगेसी बनती है. शानदार तालियां आपके लिए कि आपने इतना शानदार मॉडरेट किया है कि सारे CFO, CEO, CFO को लग रहा है कि नहीं सुमित भाई जैसा इतना यंग चार्टर्ड अकाउंटेंट जो 10 साल में 190 प्रोफेशनल टीम के साथ काम करा. कुडोज टू यू सर फॉर स्पेयरिंग योर टाइम टू बी विद WRC एंड वी आर वेरी थैंकफुल एंड ग्रेटफुल टू यू सर. Special thanks to Sumeet Doshi for sharing his professional experience, emphasizing नई सोच, नई दिशा, नया नेतृत्व. Grateful to CA Sandeep Zanvar sir for highlighting evolving the customer expectations and importance for adapting leadership approach in today's dynamic business environment. Sincere appreciation to Jayashree Ramaswamy madam for valuable insight on making organization the future ready and building sustainable business for the long term. And the thanks to Mr. CA, young dynamic CFO Kailash Rathi too, for beautiful explaining the performance gaps and opportunities gaps that the organization must identify to achieve the excellence and growth. A special note of gratitude to CA Dipesh Vora for his powerful thought on the health, wealth, leadership, lessons and self-reliance while motivating everyone toward the Viksit Bharat. Finally, 3 big cheers to impactful WRC team in each and every one, all the lovely audience and the lovely panelists. With this, thank you so much. Thank you.
May I request Regional Council Member Abhishek Namne to take this forward.